ARK Ascended launching next month, but where's the gameplay? Could we see a return of old unused assets? And is this the beginning of the end of ARK Survival Evolved? You're right, kids, it's Raasclark, and welcome to your regular ARK community news. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share it around, and let's get into it. So the community crunch dropped last night, and it was quite an interesting one in that it gave us reminders on stuff, specifically the community creature vote for extinction. That's still going on at the moment, with plenty of submissions being put out there as we speak, with the three remaining attaining highest voted ones out there at the moment, the ones we covered exactly last weekend: the Dreadnoughtus, the Darwinosaurus, and the Maver Eureka, with now apparently a tech turret on its back. I won't be surprised if all three of those get through to the final 10 tally vote, where on September the 11th you'll be able to vote the top 10 favourites, and we'll see which one comes from that to be your chosen brand new creature for extinction, whenever that comes out for ASA. And apart from that, they've just had a wipe for ARK, POC and beginner servers. Interesting, the beginner servers don't really feel like there's much point now at this stage, when, you know, the servers are due to close pretty soon, but they're there if you want to play on them, with ARK, POC and beginner servers wiping on the 30th, and the official servers. Whilst it says the 29th here, it's for customer support. The wipe for official servers is still happening on the 30th, as it was questioned to product manager Dolly. Does this mean the servers close then on the 29th as well? In which it was replied, nah, sunset date hasn't changed. That's just when customer support wraps up for ASE. So it is definitely the 30th across the board. And that's it. The end of ARK in some forms is approaching. At the end of this month, there will be no official servers. That's quite an insane thought indeed, as they prepare them for ARK Survival Ascended. Already, as a result, we're seeing a definite decline in ARK popularity. Over the last month, we've certainly seen a decline in players to one of its lowest numbers it's ever had. And in trending search terms, the same fate. Because you and I all know that just doesn't feel like much being talked about at the moment. Whilst we've certainly got a community crunch that's jam-packed with information, if you missed it, the devs go on within this crunch to remind us it is still coming out in October. They are preparing for ASA's October release. And they're now running an infinite Evo event all the way up until the sunset of these official servers, from 2 times on official all the way up to 5 times on conquest. And with an announcement on the ever-thriving Switch port having a 50% off sale of the base game, I think, it just doesn't feel like there's much hype being generated around ASA at the moment, because there's nothing to see. The devs, as they've recently said, they're putting 99% of resources into this, hence a wind down on reveals. And we know there's a contractual obligation for them to get this out in October. So I'm not surprised they are much more quieter than usual, and they aren't showing much because they are busy trying to get us a product ready in time for their October release date. It was even asked, why are Wildcard being radio silent? Well, they don't think they are. They're working hard behind the scenes, updating at times via crunches and releasing concept art and dossiers for the new creatures that will land in ASA. But of course, gameplay, we won't be seeing that until just before ASA launches. So whilst it still seems to be confirmed that we are going to see this before it arrives, it can't be denied the combined closing of official servers, the lack of ASA in-game screenshots whilst we are getting a look at these creatures at the moment, I think certainly combines a just general less interest in ARK at the moment. And that's fine. Admittedly, I thought we would see a decline in ARK popularity way before this time now. We are within a very weird limbo moment between the two games, and people maybe deciding whether they're going to stick around in ASE, and a lot of people now just thinking, well, why do I bother playing ARK anymore, and I'll just wait until ASA, see what that's like. and jumps on that. So it's obviously going to die in popularity amongst the general community. A lot of people have, content creators including, kind of stepped a little bit away from ARK just to explore other ideas. If it's less in popularity right now, I guess this is a great opportunity for people to explore those other ideas. But ARK is still here, and for the remaining people that are here, it's interesting and a thought right now. What is everybody planning to do to say goodbye, farewell to ASE? As we saw in this post, PlayStation Official are planning a farewell party on their servers. And for a lot of people through October, especially when we get a actual release date for ASA, are going to be saying farewell themselves. And it's a thought on what that's going to be. Content creators, I'm looking at you especially. What is that final video going to be for a game that's lasted 8 years? Some people have grown into adults, past middle age, got married, had kids, and all that jazz during this game's development. Relationships have been made, and almost decade will have gone by as we say farewell to a game that a lot of us have been playing for a very long time. And whilst again, yeah, there's nothing new on ASA, no in-game shots, no assets to really compare against, it did beg a thought on what more could be included. If some assets are being changed entirely, such as the beacons and structures that we've seen so far, it did get me thinking, could we see the re-arrival of old assets that were never used? These ones in particular being for the island, given to me kindly by Armand Gamer, of artifacts, lots of artifacts that we never got to see in the game, never used. Could ARK decide what their plans were for these to be implemented to the island as a result? And as a result, we would see even more caves. Could it be a more expansive island? Could we see the re-arrival of assets when dropped actually being what they're meant to be, as opposed to a box or a bag that you drop? Wolf dens, tech giga saddles, tech wyvern saddles, Leoplorodon saddles, and apparently really rare golden fish. There were a lot of assets that were meant to be used and obviously had some idea to be used for something. Could we see a return of these for ASA? My opinion is I don't think we're going to get the full island as intended in October. I think, especially being in early access, we will get what they can get made in time for October, with stuff to be included later on because it's in early access. And that's fine. I might be down for that. A sort of replication of the original ARK, and a lot of people still ponder for and yearn for that experience. Maybe it could be a good thing to have that going on. But I do think we may not see the fully finished island when we get it in October to play in its form for ARK Survival Ascended. Whatever the case, I'm really looking forward to it and seeing what exactly this is, and the time leading up to it, this limbo experience. I'm doing the same too, trying to gather as many creators as possible in one last farewell to ASE, in a bit of monarchy sort of season 0.5 thing, which we put an ad out for over the weekend, and we'll see what happens with that. It's going to be a challenging one. The idea is to provide some entertainment in ASE as we close it out and make the transition to this new Unreal 5 remaster when it drops next month. Or will it? Do you think it will? Comment below, let me know. How are you going to see out ARK Survival Evolved? I'd love to hear your stories. Please share them below. And I look forward to seeing many people saying goodbye to ASE. It's been a pretty good run, right? Until the next one. My name is Raasclark. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, peace out.